You really do have better tools than ever to train your retail teams right now. I mean, you can push out brand stories, compliance updates, seasonal launches, and you can do it at lightning speed straight to their devices.
Right. It's instant.
Exactly.
Mm.
So why, right at this exact moment, are your frontline associates more disengaged than ever before? You, the retail executive listening right now, you know this tension intimately.
Oh, they feel it every day.
Yeah, because you're looking at the metrics, you're trying to optimize those frontline operations, but there's just this massive disconnect between the training you're deploying and the actual reality playing out on the sales floor.
There really is. It's a huge gap.
So today, we are going to completely dismantle how you prioritize training content for those really busy store teams. We need to figure out how to, filter out that relentless corporate noise, protect your employees' focus, and actually drive real sales.
Yeah, because honestly, the irony of modern retail right now is that the technological advantage has actually become the operational bottleneck.
Wait, really? The advantage is the bottleneck.
Yeah, exactly. Because organizations possess this unprecedented ability to create and distribute content now. But that ability masks a really deep structural flaw.
Okay, what kind of flaw?
Well, when a brand can produce training materials instantly, the default strategy almost always just becomes more, like just push more out. And treating content volume as a strategy is precisely what is causing that frontline disengagement.
I mean, let's look at the reality of that frontline environment for a second. If you walk onto any retail floor on a Saturday afternoon, it is the absolute definition of a high-noise environment.
Oh, completely chaotic.
Right. The associate isn't just standing there waiting patiently for an educational module. They're basically acting as a human router for this crazy stream of data.
Right. They have live customers demanding immediate attention, obviously.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But simultaneously, that same associate is processing omnichannel fulfillment, BOPIS orders pinging on their device, promotional changes, real-time inventory tracking.
Clienteling tasks, loss prevention alerts.
Yes, all of it, all at once.
So now, inject a constant stream of corporate training into that exact environment. You really have to look at the cognitive load being placed on that associate.
Because there's a limit,
A
right?
strict limit. The human brain has a strict processing limit, especially in high-stress, live-fire environments like a busy store.
So when leadership decides that every single operational tweak or minor product feature needs a module.
Right. Or every new initiative requires a dedicated push notification. The associate's brain simply cannot prioritize at all. Cognitive fatigue sets in.
And when that happens,
When that happens, the associate just stops differentiating between mission-critical information and background noise. It all just blurs together.
I always try to picture this visually, and it makes me think of driving a car where the dashboard is completely malfunctioning.
Oh, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, imagine you're driving down the highway, and every single warning light on the dashboard starts flashing red at the exact same time.
Careful.
Right. You've got the low windshield washer fluid light blinking with the exact same blinding intensity as your engine is literally on fire light.
Right, exactly.
As a driver, you don't stop and methodically diagnose each light. You get completely overwhelmed. Your brain protects itself from the panic, and you just end up ignoring the entire dashboard.
Because when everything is presented as urgent, absolutely nothing feels urgent.
Yes, nothing feels important anymore.
And honestly, it is actually worse than just ignoring the dashboard. In a retail setting, they take a piece of black tape and they just cover the dashboard entirely.
Wow. Just completely block it out.
Yeah, that is active disengagement. It's a defense mechanism for them. Think about a major new product launch, right? Strategically, this should be an adrenaline shot for your store teams.
It's an opportunity to drive higher basket sizes, create great customer moments, all of that.
Exactly. But because of that flashing red dashboard effect, that really vital launch training is just sitting in a queue right next to an obscure HR update.
Or like a module on how to fold a new style of denim or something.
Right. So the critical selling behavior that you desperately need them to learn just gets buried under operational filler.
Which paints a pretty grim picture of the sales floor, honestly.
Yeah.
But if they are mentally putting black tape over the dashboard like that, how are executives looking at these pristine completion metrics?
Ah, the metrics.
Yeah, let me put my executive hat on for a second and just play devil's advocate here.
Go for it.
I am looking at my Q3 corporate dashboard. It says we hit 100% completion across all 500 of our stores for the new spring collection training.
Beautiful green check marks everywhere.
Exactly. The associates clicked through the modules, they took the quizzes at the end, and they passed. I mean, they can't guess every single answer on a quiz, right? Doesn't that prove the system is working and the knowledge was transferred?
That is the most dangerous assumption a retail leader can make today.
Really, the most dangerous.
Absolutely. We have to completely sever the link between technical completion and true behavioral engagement. What you are seeing on that dashboard is just the illusion of competence.
The illusion of competence. Okay, unpack that for me.
Well, the mechanics of short-term memory allow an associate to click through a 15-minute module, scan the bold text, and hold that information in their working memory for maybe the 3 seconds it takes to answer a multiple-choice question.
Right, they just hold it long enough to pass.
Exactly. They know that C is usually the right answer, or they literally just click until the system lets them move forward.
So they pass the quiz, the system logs a green check mark, and basically their manager gets off their back.
Yep. But the knowledge evaporates the exact moment they close the screen.
So they didn't actually learn anything.
No, a message can be technically delivered without ever truly encoding in the brain. They remember the physical act of completing the task back in the break room.
Sure, they remember doing the chore.
Right, but they have absolutely no memory of the substantive content.
Okay, so the knowledge doesn't encode. But what is the actual downstream business cost of that? Because, some leaders might just say, well, at least we covered our bases from a compliance or communication standpoint.
Oh, the cost is monumental. And the scary part is, it's mostly hidden.
Hidden how?
First, you have the immediate payroll waste, right? You're paying people to perform a totally bureaucratic exercise.
Yeah, paying them to sit in the back room clicking sync.
Right. But the true business cost is the complete failure of that message to translate into the actual customer experience. When training fails to stick, your store managers just become broken records.
They just have to repeat everything.
Exactly. They spend their time repeating operational updates and pre-shift huddles because they know perfectly well the digital training was ignored.
Which just pulls the manager away from actual coaching.
Right.
It basically turns the manager into an analog notification system instead of a leader.
That is a perfect way to phrase it, yes.
Yeah.
And even more critically, those vital product stories, the unique selling points that actually justify a premium price tag, they completely fail to show up when a customer asks a question.
Right, the customer just gets a generic baseline interaction.
Instead of a deeply informed premium one. The ultimate measure of training effectiveness is never the completion rate.
It's what happens next.
Strictly whether the content changed what happened next on the sales floor. If the customer doesn't feel a difference in that interaction, the training did not happen. I don't care what the software reports.
Okay, so we had this massive disconnect. The floor is way too noisy, the cognitive load is just too high, and our pristine metrics are basically lying to us.
Pretty much.
So we can't just stop training our teams, right? Retail moves incredibly fast. Updates obviously have to happen.
Oh, for sure. You can't just go dark.
Right. So if those long traditional queues of modules are causing active disengagement, how do leaders actually protect employee focus while still delivering the necessary information?
By fundamentally changing the rhythm and the format of the delivery. The objective isn't merely to slash the volume of content, but to completely rethink its context.
Okay, changing the context. How so?
Well, the traditional model forces the associate to leave the floor, sit in a break room, and consume 30 minutes of abstract information. To protect their focus, learning actually has to fit into the natural rhythm of the store. It has to happen in the margin.
The margins,
Yeah.
meaning those brief lulls, right? The downtime between customers.
Yeah. The moment standing behind the cash wrap or, in the aisle just before the doors unlock for the day.
Okay, but those windows are super brief.
Exactly, which is why the format has to shift to highly relevant short-form video. We are talking about micro-learning here, specifically like 2-minute visual bursts.
Let's break down the mechanics of that, though. Why is a 2-minute video watched on a tablet at the cash wrap neurologically superior to a 30-minute interactive course in the back room? I mean, it can't just be about saving time, right?
No, it's not just about time. It is heavily about cognitive context and visual retention. When an associate is sitting in a break room, the information is entirely abstract. They have to imagine the product and imagine the customer.
They're disconnected from the reality of it.
Completely. But when they are standing on the floor, holding a new waterproof jacket, and watching a 2-minute video on their device demonstrating exactly how to sell that specific jacket.
You are leveraging context.
Yes. They are learning near the absolute moment of application. Furthermore, video utilizes dual coding theory.
Dual coding theory.
Yeah, meaning they are seeing the product behavior while simultaneously hearing the messaging. It completely bypasses the fatigue of reading text-heavy slides.
You know, it reminds me of the dynamic between a sports coach and a player.
Oh, that's a great analogy.
Like if a coach wants a player to execute a specific defensive adjustment, they don't pull that player off the field, march them into a classroom, and make them sit through a 3-hour PowerPoint presentation about the history of defense.
Right, the game is still happening.
Exactly. They wait for a break in the play, they pull the player aside on the sideline right by the field, and give them a highly targeted 10-second piece of advice.
Watch his left foot.
Anticipate the pass, keep your hands up.
Yeah.
They give the player exactly what they need for the very next play in the environment where the play is actually going to happen.
That is the absolute perfect framework for retail microlearning. You are equipping them for the very next interaction. You give them just enough information to act with confidence, and you just strip away all the corporate throat clearing and filler.
But let's talk about the execution of these videos for a second, because just making something short doesn't automatically make it good.
Oh, not at all.
Right? A terrible 30-minute module chopped down into a 2-minute video is still just 2 minutes of really bad content. It has to earn their attention in that high-noise environment.
The production value and the structure are critical here. This cannot be a shaky webcam recording of a regional manager just reading bullet points from a PDF.
Yeah, that's not going to engage anyone.
A successful microlearning video requires really aggressive pacing. It needs to reflect realistic scenarios that the associate actually encounters daily.
Not those idealized corporate fantasies of how a sale goes.
Exactly. It relies on engaging on-camera talent who speak the actual language of the floor, high-quality imagery of the products, and a singular, concise message.
So don't try to cram too much in.
If a video tries to teach 3 things, it fails. It must teach one thing perfectly.
Which, I think, brings us to the elephant in the room regarding video production.
AI.
AI. Historically, creating high-quality, perfectly paced 2-minute videos was really expensive and really slow. You needed a script, a camera crew, editing time, approvals from legal.
It could take weeks or months.
Exactly. But now we are squarely in the era of AI and rapid production technologies. Retailers are integrating tools that can generate video content almost instantly.
And that technological leap is exactly where the next massive trap lies for retail executives.
Right, because if AI makes it basically frictionless to generate videos, aren't we just setting ourselves up to recreate the exact same problem?
That is what I call the volume trap 2.0.
Volume Trap 2.0.
Yeah. The temptation for learning and development teams is to look at AI as this tool for infinite scale. If you give a team a tool that makes content creation effortless, their natural instinct is to create content for absolutely everything.
Because they can.
Because they can. But speed and scale are only assets when they are relentlessly paired with relevance. The strategic opportunity of rapid AI production is not to flood the associate.
So how should an executive be directing their L&D teams to use these rapid production tools then? If not for volume, then for what?
For unprecedented agility.
Agility instead of volume.
Exactly. The old paradigm was dictated by production timelines. The core question used to be, well, what content can we actually afford to produce this quarter?
So you just batched everything together into massive bloated modules to save money.
Right. But the new paradigm, enabled by these rapid tools, shifts the core question entirely. The new question has to be, what does the associate need to know right this second? And what format will make that specific message stick?
So it moves from a strategy of volume to a strategy of extreme precision.
Exactly that. Let's say a specific customer question is suddenly trending across your stores regarding the sizing of a new footwear line.
Like it runs a half size small or something.
Right. In the old model, you couldn't address that quickly. It would just go into next month's giant training update.
By which time you've lost hundreds of sales.
Exactly. But with rapid production tools, your L&D team can identify that knowledge gap on Tuesday, generate a concise 2-minute video explaining the sizing nuance, and deploy it to every associate's device before the store opens on Wednesday.
Wow, you are catching the wave of the actual need.
Yes. You are delivering training when it can immediately influence performance. It earns their attention because the associate actually needs the answer today.
Right, they're dealing with those exact customer questions.
It reinforces what matters, and because you can produce it quickly, you don't feel the need to pad it with useless filler just to justify the production cost.
So we need to distill all of this into an actionable reality for the retail executive listening right now. The mandate here is pretty clear. To protect your frontline team's focus, you have to completely abandon the volume strategy.
Absolutely.
We've uncovered that chasing a 100% completion metric is not just meaningless, it is actively deceptive if it is not translating into change behavior on the sales floor.
It's an illusion.
Right. You cannot treat every single corporate update like a 5-alarm fire without causing your teams to put black tape over their metaphorical dashboards.
The shift really requires adopting those concise 2-minute, highly visual formats. You have to weave the learning into the natural rhythm of the store, allowing associates to consume it between customer interactions, right at the point of application.
In the margins.
In the margins. And as you integrate AI and rapid production tools, you must fiercely guard against the temptation to just create more noise.
Right. Use those tools for speed and precision, not just to turn up the volume.
Exactly.
You know, the ultimate goal of your entire training apparatus should be profoundly simple. It really exists to do one thing: to help the associate be more effective with the very next customer who walks through the door.
That's the whole point.
If a piece of content isn't doing that, you really have to ruthlessly question why it's taking up your employees' cognitive bandwidth. Which I think leaves us with a final, really lingering question for you to explore on your own today.
It's a good one.
Think about that flashing dashboard and the black tape. If you were to audit your company's entire training queue right now, how much of it is genuinely designed to empower your team for that vital next customer interaction? And how much of it is just corporate noise masquerading as education? Think about it. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.